Greetings, viewers. You can probably notice right away I am not using my normal mic. This is because I am currently stuck in Italy, much to my chagrin, and I don't have access to my big and complicated to take apart Rhodes Podcaster. I'm just using my normal headset. So I know the sound quality isn't optimal and people are pretty nitpicky about sound quality, but I hope you can bear with me and just listen to what I have to say despite the sound quality not being perfect. As soon as I get home, assuming I survive the trip back home, I will once again have my Rhodes Podcaster and the sound quality will be back up to the standard you've become accustomed to. But having said that, let us move on to the topic at hand. As many of you might know, we have heard that the Steam Workshop for mods is now going to offer a pay for downloading mod model. Gopher, being the far greater divine human being than I am, has already covered this quite extensively. But even non-divine filth such as myself, we have opinions too. And so I thought I might offer my view on these things and on this matter. Now, some of what I have to say might echo what the divine Gopher has said, but some of it might differ. Now, the first thing to cover, of course, is the reactive nature people have. Everyone just jumps on the bandwagon and says instantly, oh, this is a bad idea, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. And Gopher did talk about this. Well, nobody likes paying for things that are otherwise free. That's pretty obvious. But I'm a bit of a stoic when it comes to these matters. I mean, this is the way of the world. When things are free, it's rare that they last forever in that state. It's rare that they remain forever free. And there's not much we can do about it. So we can, kick and cry and complain, but as Gopher said, I mean, change is coming and we have to roll with the punches. This is just the way the world works. I mean, the world is basically a for-profit model. Very few people do things for absolute nothing. And quite frankly, not with my gaming channel, but with regards to my other content, which helps support me to live. If I got absolutely nothing for doing it, I wouldn't be doing it. And, people can call me greedy for that, but it's just the reality of the world. That's just the way it is. I don't make enough money off of the gaming channel to say anything. This is just for fun because, it is what it is in this sense. Why complain about things that are essentially immutable and essentially just the way the world works? I don't know. Now, there's another aspect that I think is actually positive, and a lot of people who've become accustomed to downloading mods for free are entitled, whingy, whiny bitches. I've seen it time and again, and yeah, you can control for that. You can quote-unquote ban people, you can block people, but I mean, you see mods that have had a lot of work put into them, and the only thing people can say is basically bitch and complain about it. This will make people think twice. This will make people give some thought to whether or not what they're doing is the best idea, and bitching and complaining. Hell, most of them won't even be paying money for it. I think this is probably a good thing. And more importantly, if there are constructive criticisms, or rather constructive criticism offered to a mod author, he might be more attentive in listening to what people have to say. Yeah, I mean, why someone who's just bitching, complaining, and you get nothing for it, okay. But if you're actually paying for a mod, you're a paying customer, and so the author might be incentivized, and in all likelihood will be incentivized to actually do something when it comes to the mod. This isn't the case if people are just complaining. Now, of course, people have put in a lot of work without being paid, but as Gopher pointed out, how much more work would people put in if, in fact, they were being paid for their work? Money is probably the biggest incentivizer out there. I mean, frankly speaking, I'll just tell you off. I've thought a million times of teaming up with a friend of mine and working on a mod, but the reality is, whilst I might sort of have the time, I could put my efforts and time into activities that are actually going to make me money, and then I just think, why bother? Why bother to spend, I don't know, weeks on end, or maybe even longer doing this, learning different things, just so I can put something up there for no reason when in all that time I could be making money and maybe I'd be losing money because I'm delegating time to an activity that doesn't uh, get me anything. And this is not because I'm a particularly greedy person, although you might think that. I barely make enough money with the things I do to get by. But so that it's all the more important that I make enough money to doing the things that I do in order so I can get by, as opposed to devoting tons of time to things that are quite frankly less profitable or not profitable at all. And look, at the end of the day, this all comes down to choosing what you want to spend money on. On a separate note, those of you who play Ghost Recons, yeah, I've spent a lot of money on that game, but people, I don't spend money really on anything but games. Oh yeah, I'm talking about rent and food, okay, but apart from that, the 90% of my money goes to the gaming world, the gaming lifestyle. So I don't have a car to pay for. I don't have a kid. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I don't have any of this stuff that costs a lot of money. I don't really eat out that often. So, it's just a question of what you want to spend money on. So I don't really have, me personally, I don't have a problem with a big ass mod, something that I really appreciate, like Better Vampires. That's a personal favorite of mine for Skyrim. If that dude had decided to charge, $5, even $10, I would have said, you know what, it's worth it. Now there is an issue, of course, that one should consider testing things out. I mean, mods undergo continual revision and updates, and yeah, I mean there are some real issues with that. I mean, you don't want to pay $5 or $10 for a mod that has a ton of bugs. Now, mind you, the author might say, well, in the Wooger we're going to improve the bugs and what have you, but it's that could be an issue I can see arising. But like it or not, the main point is we are stuck with this. Excuse me. We're stuck with the current model, and we're going to be stuck with the next model they're introducing. And I echo the thoughts of the Divine Gopher in the sense that I doubt that Nexus would turn into a for-profit thing. It doesn't seem like a smart move for popularizing games, particularly for Skyrim and whatever future titles that Bethesda releases, because that's actually counterproductive in the long run. I mean, if everything just costs money, why bother getting the game itself? For a lot of people, they might just, you have to choose your battles. You choose what you spend money on. Some people choose to spend money on cars and fancy clothing. I wear the same clothing that I was wearing 8 years ago, and I don't have a car. So it's, you have to make these decisions. And some people who are gamers but like to spend money on other things might think, well, why bother with the game now? Because it's all, paid for and blah, 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 blah. So I think there are a lot of different possible outcomes. But as Gopher said, and people could be incentivized working harder to get things done, being more motivated. This is not necessarily a bad thing, and I don't think this will ever happen now, but there are a lot of mod ideas I had about thinking about doing, and who knows? They could have been more stimulated, motivated if if there were an option to actually get something for it. And even then, I mean, we have to be realistic, and I don't see this becoming a true moneymaker. With a few exceptions, I mean, massively popular mods such as Better Vampires or Frostfall, some of the patch fixes, all this stuff, that could end up making you lots of money, but some of the smaller stuff, maybe a little bit. I would have probably paid for Hunter Born. I really like that mod. For example, it's not huge, but it's not small. So yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of different things that could happen, arise from this, and we don't know the future. So it's just a question of twiddling our thumbs and waiting to see what happens. But we do have to roll with the punches. I mean, this is the reality we live in. The world exists in a for-profit model, and that's just the way it is. We're not going to change it, and people do need to make money to survive. Certainly, there are people who want to make a lot more money than just the money they need to survive, but that's just the way of the world. So we'll just have to deal with it. And to all the people who think they're just automatically entitled to complain and bitch about things and mods and what have you, I mean, maybe this will actually give them some pause, because they're probably not going to spend the money on the game on the mod anyway, so they won't be able to bitch and complain. That's probably welcome relief to a lot of people. I mean, if you've ever scoured the Nexus, you can see what I'm talking about. So anyway, once again, I apologize for the lower sound, the worse sound quality than usual, but I am using my headset and I'm stuck in Italy and I don't have my Rhodes Podcaster here, so you bear with me. I'm sure you can deal with this particular instance of not the best sound quality. And if and when I get back to Italy Italy, gods, I'm in Italy, man, this place is driving me crazy. If and when I get back to Germany intact, then I'll be going back to my other one. And on a side note, I don't like making promises, but man, I watched Gopher's video on The Witcher 3, and I was just borderline on that game for so long, but I think I've been sold. Fuck, I have been sold. I pre-ordered it on Steam now. I'm definitely getting The Witcher, and I know I have a shitty track record with LPs. In fact, the only one I ever finished was the Mass Effect trilogy, but who knows? We never don't know what might happen with it. But I've been sold on The Witcher. I actually pre-ordered it on Steam, and even though technically my CPU is not supposed to be able to handle it, it's going to be running on consoles, so it shouldn't really be an issue. I won't be able to run it on optimal whatever, I don't think. GPU should be fine, but anyway. So I'll end this little talk rant, and I wish you a pleasant day. And I must go into the scorching orb of fire in this infernal land. Ugh. But I'll catch you guys later, probably if and when I'm back in Germany, alive, intact, etc. Take care, and thanks for watching.